Thank you very much for jumping on the Security Space podcast today. What we will be discussing is using generative AI for good. But before we get into that, Benoit, are you okay to let the audience know a little bit about yourself?
Sure. So my name is Benoit Koenig. I co-founded Veesion in 2018, just after our studies in AI with two other co-founders. 2 years of pure research and development on AI applied to video content. And the first obvious use case for me was to help retailers reduce shrink and fight shoplifting. That's a huge problem for retailers. And I personally know that because my uncle runs 3 supermarkets in the Paris region. So every weekend it was about talking about the shoplifter we caught in the last few days.
Amazing. Okay, so Benoit, just before we do get into it, talk to me a little bit about your journey up to that point before Veesion obviously got founded. How did it all come about then?
Yeah, so I had the great opportunity to study AI, artificial intelligence, at university back in 2016, 2017. At the time, AI on image content was starting to work technically. The next step at the time was to be able to understand what's going on in a video, with that temporal dimension. So I met my two co-founders at university. We really wanted to be the first company to work on that topic, AI applied to video. At the time, you started to have the first elements to be able to work on video. The training databases were just started to emerge. A new coding framework to build algorithm for video. And of course, computational power. Before 2016, very hard to run those super heavy algorithm for video. So we started to work on that topic, AI on video content. I personally have family running some stores in the Paris region, and so shoplifting has always been our major concern because we are a low margin industry. Probably 2-3% margin on average, and if you don't deal with shoplifting the right way, it might be the element that makes you go under. We didn't have at the time much solutions or at least we had mostly suboptimal solutions to fight shoplifting. Cameras, RFID tags, security guards, but study shows that less than 5% of thefts are detected today thanks to those traditional solutions. So we thought it was an obvious first use case to help retailers reduce their loss due to shrink. And shoplifting is also a major problem because it has indirect consequences. It impacts sales price you see in stores because retailers have to compensate for their loss, and it also creates unanticipated out of stock. And something you see in the US, not yet in Europe, but probably is going to come soon. You see a lot of retailers in the US that are locking up entire shelves to prevent shoplifting. So obviously, it has a huge impact on sales.
Absolutely, yeah. And I just want to go back to obviously the initial nucleus of where it came about. Obviously, going back to your studies and about AI in image, AI in video, or where it, sort of the brainchild for your product actually got born. And these days I'm seeing sort of videos where it's like you've got to check yourself, haven't you? Where it's like, God, is that actually real, or has it actually been deep faked? And recently I seen sort of Donald Trump in an interview actually sort of watch back an AI video made of him. And he actually had to check with his team, like, did I actually say that? And I think that that's absolutely alarming and scary. The fact that AI video is getting that mature and that sophisticated, where even himself didn't actually know. So it's refreshing to hear that there's a company like Veesion that are using sort of Gen AI in image for good, because I know that there's a lot of dangerous aspects of this as well. So sort of explain to me, or I believe, obviously, could you show me some examples of how you guys are actually using it for good?
Sure. So first, maybe I can explain you how the algorithm works, how you train an AI model in general, and then I'll show you how we leverage Gen AI
Oh, perfect.
to train our algorithm faster. Can you see the video I'm running right now?
Yep.
So this is basically to show you what the algorithm sees. This is on the right, what the algorithm is seeing. On the left, the original video footage of a security camera. As you can see, the algorithm is based on several components working together to identify any gesture at any second. So first component is human detection, to identify each individual and not identify actually, but analyze each individual separately. This is the square you can see around each person. The second component is called pose estimation. Those are the colored zones you can see on the body of each individual. This is very important to observe how different body parts evolve over time. This is the most important element because this is what makes the analysis completely anonymous. As you can see here, the algorithm doesn't care about what people look like. It cares about the body parts and body movements.
Okay.
The third element is called object recognition, to identify a backpack, a purse versus a shopping bag or shopping cart. And those elements will provide you the probability of the occurrence of any gesture at any time. And when this probability is high enough on a suspicious behavior like item in a backpack or item in a pocket, then we're going to send a real-time video alert to the store owner. Okay, so this is how the algorithm works today. To train that kind of an algorithm, you need to show the algorithm millions of examples that are what we call labeled. So you're going to tell the algorithm, I'm going to show you this video. This is a theft scenario. I'm going to show another video. This is not a theft. And with millions of examples, if not billions, because the more examples you show to the algorithm, the better it gets. Then the algorithm will, by itself, extract what makes a shoplifting, or what makes potential shoplifting, or normal shopping behavior, if you will. So to collect those millions of examples, you need to find the real life examples, or you can collect some videos on online media. Can you see still my screen with
Yes.
4 different videos?
Yep.
So this is to show you how we can go faster in collecting more training data. On the top left corner, you can see the original video of some of our colleagues that is simulating placing an item in a backpack within a store. And the 3 other videos are videos built with Gen AI from the original video. So you can create new context, new persons, new environment from a single video. And you can create theoretically billions of new videos from an original real video. And that's the game changer here, because you're going to train your algorithm on billions of examples, not millions anymore. And this is what makes the performance increase drastically faster. This is also a way to remove any biases because you have a huge variability in your trained database. Virtually, you can create an infinite number of scenarios from an original video. And that's really the way the algorithm will extract the right features to understand if we're in front of a potential shoplifting, or a normal shopping behavior.
That's really cool. That's really cool, and like, it's also scary at the same time, Benoit. So, obviously, my initial thoughts on this is there sort of a big demand at the moment for a product like this on the market, or are you guys kind of in your own field and you're kind of like creating a demand for it essentially?
Yeah, that's a very good point. We started in 2018. Back in the day, not a lot of alternatives. People don't know much about AI, especially independent store owners. This is our big pride, to give access to AI to the mass market, when usually AI is reserved to big box retailers. And those independent store owners, indeed, like, they're not usually they're not necessarily tech savvy. People don't have the reflex to type on Google AI to detect shoplifting. They don't even know it exists. So we had to educate the market to show this is a new technology that's working, that's available now.
Yep.
And so we started selling back in 2020 after 2 years of pure R&D. And within 4 years of operations, we went from 0 to 4,000 stores equipped globally,
Yep.
25 plus countries covered. And we see a huge traction in the US and in Brazil. Typically, Brazil, paradoxically, is very advanced in terms of retail technologies. And so, yeah, strong demand because this is a huge problem. Shoplifting represents more than $120 billion lost every year by
Yep.
worldwide retailers. And again, in the low margin industry, being able to cope with shoplifting the right way might increase your net income by 50%.
Wow. So, because that was going to be my next question, is like you say, I've mentioned on previous podcasts when I use examples of low hanging fruit, like we often say, okay, the retail sector, who security isn't their number one priority. So, my question would be, is there a specific subsector in retail that is in need of this product, or is it just sort of like you say, they looked like supermarkets? I know they were just demos, but they look like just standard supermarkets. Or is there sort of beauty retailers, I don't know, music retailers, or is it just a general consensus?
No, that's a very good point. So we started in the supermarket industry by opportunity because we have an extensive network in the space. We also have more than 500 pharmacies equipped with our technology. A lot of shoplifting happening in pharmacies too. But we aim at targeting any retail sectors, cosmetics, clothing, electronics, DIY, even duty-free shops. I was surprised to see that there is a lot of ORC, organized retail crime, targeting duty-free shops in airports because it's usually super open, easy to steal. A lot of small products. I'm thinking about fragrances or tobacco, very expensive and easily
Yep.
resellable online since the emergence of those online platforms, Amazon, eBay. You can easily make money with stolen goods. So all retail sectors and also logistics, there is big concerns in distribution centers, in warehouses. So this is our next step. And in the future, imagine new use cases to help other industries like healthcare. They would need to understand human behaviors or human gestures. Same in casino, entertainment industry, for example. A lot
Yeah.
of cheating gestures that could be detected thanks to an AI and a camera.
Yeah, well, that was going to be my next question as well. You keep beating me to it, Benoit. Is where can this technology go? Can it grow beyond shoplifting? And could you elaborate a little bit more on the healthcare and the casinos as to where this could be? Because my initial thoughts could be like in terms of, I don't know, like child development or something like that, spotting different nuances in their behaviour or anything like that. It's just my initial thoughts. So where can this product go to, do you reckon?
Yeah, so that's a good question. The beauty of AI is that you don't start from scratch when you want to open new scenario, when you want to detect a new gesture. So we're going to reuse probably 80% of what we've developed already because the algorithm has understood a lot of different things while analyzing human gestures. So our next in our roadmap, the next scenarios we want to detect is slip and fall. This is also a big problem for retailers around the world to be able to act in real time when someone falls on the floor and assist. In the healthcare industry, indeed, that's also a big topic. Slip and fall, maybe helping identify, some pathology early enough. Alzheimer gives a specific behavior to people that are affected by this pathology. So that could be a way also to detect those patterns early enough to be able to treat the patient earlier than today. We also aim at delivering marketing analysis, if we stay in the retail space, this is still human behavior and gesture understanding.
Yep.
So to understand how many people interacted with that specific product in that area versus how many actually bought the product, to have kind of a conversion rate like you have on the web today, and you don't see in the brick and mortar stores.
Okay, really exciting. And what are some of the obstacles that you trying to overcome daily when it comes to using Gen AI for good? When it comes to image and video, what do you have to come up against? Is it cost? Is it accessibility? Is it skill sets? What's your challenges?
Yeah, very good point. So you mentioned the main ones. Skill set, very hard to find those top engineers in the field, super competitive field, especially with the big tech, that is trusting most of those talents. But this is also a nice way, especially from Meta, for example, to be able to post open source a lot of resources, a lot of new findings in the field that's helping a lot companies like us that are trying to be pioneers in the space. Computational power is a huge challenge indeed. There is a lot of competition for those computer availability, the cost of training on video content, which is much heavier than image content. So indeed, training costs is rising a lot. That's why we have a team dedicated to optimizing training so that it goes faster and requires less resources so that it's less expensive. And data collection, again, this is one of the major concern, but this is mitigated by Gen AI, where you can build yourself the right data you want to train on.
Yeah. No, all really, really good points. And where's your viewpoint at this moment in time? Because I was reading an article, I think it was about a week ago now. I believe it was the leading tech analyst of like the S&P 500, whatever it was, to be honest with you. And he has raised the argument about investment in AI at this moment in time, and he said it could be replicating the .NET bubble that happened in the late 90s, early 2000s. Do you think that because the amount of money that's being thrown at the AI sector at this moment in time is ludicrous? It's just the flavor of the month at this moment in time. Do you think that there could be a bubble that bursts, or do you think no, too far gone? You cannot escape AI. Gen AI is the next thing as well. It's here to stay. Get used to it.
Yeah, so that's a good point. Maybe nobody knows. Maybe it's a bubble, but what's certain is that this tremendous amount of capital being injected in the field will bring, anyways, some value. You will see the emergence of new actors proposing crazy new concepts that would have never emerged or would have taken years to emerge without that capital. So I think it's still very interesting. I think we start to see the value of AI. You can measure it. Studies show that, for example, the use of ChatGPT in different fields increases productivity significantly. I personally use ChatGPT on a daily basis. It's super helpful to generate user-friendly textual, visual content. That's an amazing gain of time for our marketing teams, for our dev team. ChatGPT can code in a super efficient, super fast way. So we heavily rely on this, and it enables us to go faster. So again, I see it as a good thing, having so much capital being injected, because it will fund companies that will provide other companies with game-changing services.
It's refreshing to hear this because for the last 12 months, when AI has been broached as a topic on this podcast, it's the general consensus is that it's good and it's bad, but it's scary. So it's really refreshing to hear the positives, because it's a phenomenal concept. Now, with that being said, then obviously when you were at university in 2016 and you were thinking, okay, I can basically create this company, and this is what we're going to do. We're going to leverage Gen AI, and we're going to sort of bring it into a market where it's its own product. What's some of the roadblocks that you've encountered that if you could go back in a time machine and say, like, look, oh, Benoit, just avoid that and you'll save yourself a lot of sleepless nights? Or talk to me a little bit about some battle scars along the way where you've really had to learn on your journey.
Yeah, so probably one of the first good learnings is to not be afraid of releasing your product as early as possible, even though it has some flaws. Do not wait too much time thinking about getting something perfect, because you have to get the feedback of your first clients to build a perfect product. You cannot build a perfect product in your basement. And that's probably the first mistake we made, as spending too much time to try to have the perfect prototype. And indeed, the first few deployments were difficult, but there was also huge very steep learning curve that we would never had if we were still working in our office. Then hire the right people. Indeed, hire right, hire fast, and trust people. This is probably, as a young first-time entrepreneur, this is probably the mistake you might make, is to not trust the first people you hire. You want to see everything they do to make sure it goes in the right direction. But if you hire the right people, indeed, they're supposed to be better than yourself. And this is actually why you're looking for those people, so that they take the right decisions that probably you wouldn't have taken. And then, yeah, it's probably something else also that is very important, is to segment your target, your ICP, your ideal. Your ICP is very important, to not waste time, to not defocus. I think this is one of the thing we did good, is to be super focused on a single product, on a single ICP, the independent store owner around the world, to be able to deliver value to them before starting to diversifying. I think if you do too many use cases at the same time, you're going to be average at everything. If you focus on a single topic, you have the opportunity to become excellent, if not the best, on this particular topic before diversifying.
Fantastic tips there, and yeah, I can only echo, like you say, the early stages of a company in the go-to-market strategy. A lot think that, oh, if we release our product, then it's not ready. We have to wait until it's right. It's like, no, if it's open source, you can get sort of improvements from the community. So absolutely, I can echo that. And like you say, with the hiring as well, it takes a different person to work in an end user or a company that's gone through an IPO to a company that is obviously at seed to Series B. They're different types of personalities, and they have to have a different sort of kind of emotional maturity, don't they, to work in them different environments. Because yeah, in a seed company, every second counts. Everybody's accountable. And if you're working in a large scale, I don't know, KPMG, EY, where perhaps maybe you can hide a little bit greater respect, but maybe you can, then it's the type of person is important as well. So some really interesting points there. Benoit, thank you very much for coming on to the podcast. If anybody has any questions for Benoit or for anything that Veesion do, or obviously if you enjoyed the demo and you'd like Benoit to go further in depth with it, I'll be sure to put all the information below. But once again, thank you very much for coming on.
Thank you so much, Nick. Thank you for having me. Pleasure.